Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Alec, thank you so much. That was great fun.
I feel like a great success.
Thank you for playing it.
Yeah, that was wonderful fun. I enjoyed it. The level of NPC interaction was the right amount to not terrify me, so I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm glad.
It's a good version of like escape room NPC stuff where they're there almost like character-based signposts of information. They're there to say the right thing. You're like, oh, great. I've heard this thing. I've got this from them. I know the clue they were meant to give me. So I could cut this off now, or I could keep talking for fun.
The cluing, I thought, was woven into your descriptions very well, both in the characters chatting to each other and in some of the other bits and pieces, like when we're looking at the mosaic and stuff like that. I just thought that it felt very written with care.
Thank you. That was an attempt to make a visual sort of spot the difference puzzle work in an audio medium. I think it came out all right.
Amazing. All right. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this was like matching the stuff on the mosaic to the stuff in the room.
Yeah.
I think that's a really great version. I think describing that as a spot the difference sort of thing, it's like find where these things exist in the room. It's really, really well implemented.
You were very good, Billy, at spotting things in the room. Felt like they had some similarity, like you were looking for bands and
I did not think about those pillars being hands, though.
That was the one that I felt pretty proud of.
Yeah, you should have felt good about it. It's like, of course they're hands.
Look, I drew them all out and I just had 5 of them staring at me and I was thinking,
what are there 2
I've
sets
drawn
of
them
5
as different
things
lengths.
where the longest thing is in the middle? Those are fingers.
I was pretty happy about that.
That was really good.
Yeah.
And it was good, like, as well, that puzzle, that it was one level past just saying, the trees will be the elf thing. Oh, the bands on the columns, that'll be the human thing. Like, it's like, yeah, but can you tell me exactly what you're looking for?
Yeah, we had to be specific
So
and actually have goals in mind, which is wonderful. What I want to ask you about, Alec, so you designed this room a long, long time ago, as is the way when we get guest GMs on our show. First of all, I want to know more about these characters and the creation of them.
So I think my original idea was 2 ideas. So one was an RPG, sort of actual RPG game rather than escape room, based on the Tomb of Horrors, like the really classic Dungeons & Dragons module.
Haven't done
so
it,
easy
do know about it. Yes,
it's so easy to die in that my idea was kind of like Tomb of Horrors, but a time loop or something.
I thought that was sort of where it was going. I thought we were going to keep dying a million times, which I feel like Tomb of Horrors is very much you have to do a spot hidden check on every door that you ever walk through.
Yes.
No, you're right. When we fell in the pit of spikes and then started glowing, I assumed we'd appear at the start of the cave again. And this is like an amulet that lets us quick save our game. And so it's like, okay, cool, we've gone back. And now we avoid the pit, but we find the next thing.
I did feel the correct amount of kicked in the pants when we fell down the second hole.
That was good. That was very funny.
Note that we did not keep checking for holes. We joked about the pool being another hole at one point, but we just did not take any extra care.
No, it's fine though. But yeah, and then the other idea was one for a zombie break room in a dungeon where like all the monsters go just to chill, and that was sort of the 2 puzzles got meshed together.
Nice.
So you've just said the word break room, and now I'm picturing. We can move on from audio escape rooms after this is the start of our 10th year. I've managed it in my head.
Yeah.
Season 19 and 20 are what's happening in our 10th year.
Yeah.
So
it's like how some football seasons go over the break, so they become the 19/20 season.
Yeah, but this by the end of this we'll have finished 10 years.
Yeah.
So this is fine. This is our 10th year. So that lets us talk about it. We're going to transition from audio escape rooms into audio break rooms. Where it's just like you walk into a room, there's lots of stuff there. You have a hammer. I hit the TV. It smashes! Nice!
Okay, we can do that for an April Fool's episode one year.
Table.
We don't do April Fools, but that sounds like a fun April Fool's episode.
It smashes! All we do is we get one piece of like Foley that we can play on a soundboard. So it's like, oh, there's a drum kit in the corner. You kick it and it goes. There you go.
Amazing. But, so the actual characters that you came up with, how arbitrary were their personalities, their descriptions that we got of them, on how much was characters that you crafted and felt attached to?
I think I felt attached to all of them by the end. Like at the start, it was very much just like, I need different undead archetypes to be here, and I need some of them to be doing different things based on what I need them to be doing for the logic puzzles. And then they all just kind of grew from there.
What? Mushroom Morgan? Why was he mushroomy?
Mushroom Morgan.
It gave me like Pirates of the Caribbean 2 vibes with Davy Jones's crew.
Last of Us vibes.
Or Last of Us vibes, I suppose.
Yes.
That's
And
fair.
I think there's some mushroom zombies in Darkest Dungeon, I think. Maybe there's some mushroom-covered
I think
zombies.
there are, yes.
There's
All
some
right,
coral-covered zombies.
everyone
at
loves
least.
that fungus whose name I can't remember.
What is that?
I think it's also just like when you put a zombie in a
Yes.
cave, mushrooms will grow on it. And you're like, wow, that's a body that's been grown over by mushrooms. And then it gets up and says, I'm a zombie who's been grown over by mushrooms. Gotcha, idiot.
That's fair. I was also thinking, was it at all intentional that the first one that we met was Lydia, who I believe is also the name of a lich in the Adventure Zone?
Oh, that's fun.
It is not an Adventure Zone reference. Most of the names are actually from Shakespeare, because I wanted old-fashioned sounding names, and then I found out that like Lydia's mentioned in Shakespeare, and I was like, oh, that's a modern sounding name that's actually very old, so I'll throw that one in.
That
The
is
Tiffany solution.
very fair. I do like the name Lydia.
Yes.
Well, now I'm looking at them all and going, oh my god, I can't
Where's
pick what
Florizel
Shakespeare's
from?
any of these are from. Oh,
They're
no.
all very minor characters, deliberately so, because I didn't want it to be distracting.
Lydia does feel like I should know Lydia. Is that like Portia's assistant?
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah. I think Enid and Aelwyn, I think, might not be. I think I got Enid just as an old lady name. Aelwyn is the name of a Welsh monk that I'm aware of.
Fair.
Nice. Look, it was a huge amount of fun. It felt like there was a lot. There was always something happening.
Definitely.
I liked the moment of finally talking to the Wraith, not the Wraith, the Will-o'-the-Wisp siren thing. And basically the siren's dialogue is, hey, you're in room 2. I was like, oh, okay, great. Let me head over to room 1.
Yeah.
You need a different tool. Come back here with that other tool, and then this will be the end. Like, all right, cool. Thanks. Thank you. I'll head back to room 1. But I'm glad we did it in the order that we did. I liked being able to search it all, get an idea, and then come back to the other room with a purpose.
I agree. It was very unusual, I feel, for our/my exploration style that we discovered that hole in the
Yes,
wall tiling.
actually, that's true.
I was more touchy than usual in this room.
Yeah, we discovered
Yeah.
the actual hole by just poking around.
I poked at that. I poked at
You
the
did.
columns. I
there-
was just touching stuff.
Was there anything specifically
stole
that
a
sort of
leaf.
unambiguously said, "Oh, I've solved the puzzle. Now I know the hole is in the tiles. Let me go"? Or were you
So
just
when
waiting for someone to
you
check?
dispel the illusion, you can see the
You
hole.
can see the
So
hole. Oh,
that's,
great, lovely.
yeah. So that's
Fair
the final
enough.
bit.
Yeah, great.
But I did
Were you
decide,
at all
like, you know
worried?
what, the hole's there.
Yeah. Were you worried at all that it'd be like, "Oh no, I'm showing them the hole. Is that going to break it?" I suppose it doesn't really until we do the illusion
Yeah, because
anyway.
you can't get across the floor. The only thing that worried me was when you were like, "Oh, do we want to just try today's date in the thing?" No, don't do
Yes, that was a very fair point where I said, look, it could be, but I do feel like that would be just that point
that
of
wouldn't be
arbitrary.
logical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it hasn't been told to us in a way that would make me feel comfortable trying
Why
that.
would you randomly every day set your lock to the current day?
Exactly.
Especially on a day when you're not here. That
yeah,
seems
the
really
only logic
strange.
that we had at that moment was
Was bad.
nonsense.
And so I'm glad we didn't try it. And I think often we don't. We don't try solutions that are maybe solutions.
No, not
until we're pretty sure.
not unless we. I think we will do that if it's a game master that we're not 100% familiar with their style. We might try things.
They might be like, "Well, you found a number. Why didn't you try it?"
Yeah,
And you're
but
like, "Okay,
again,
sure."
this is the third one that we've done with you, Alec, and we know that we have felt like your rooms have made immediate sense to us in
yes,
the past,
so it is. There's part of that is the trustworthiness.
which helps. Do you think, brainstorming for everybody, were there any other ways that we could have not died?
Ooh,
If we
jumped
had
in
been
the pool
foolish
with
enough.
the siren
Oh,
or with
interesting.
the will-o'-the-wisp?
Yeah. I think my thinking for if that would happen would be you'd probably get chewed up a bit and then spat back out, and they'd be like, "Why you weirdo? Why are you doing that?"
Because I suppose there's not
Yeah.
really any danger when the amulet lets us keep coming back to life.
I
Yeah.
don't. I am very curious if I had this in real life, exactly how much I would abuse it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you didn't come back to life. You did still have the big holes in you. That's why everyone assumed you were a worker there, because they were like,
yeah,
"Oh,
we
you're
are
a zombie.
just a zombie.
You're here to work."
That is
That
true. We are
makes
just a zombie.
sense. Ah, that's so great.
It was very good.
Yeah.
We've sort of
And
already talked
your
about
dad
the
is the
moments that we
lich.
felt. Yes, lich dad, zombie daughter.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, so how much do you recall about the various? I don't know how many of them have been pre-break versus post-break. Hey, how?
What are you trying
I
to
can say words. How have playtests gone, and has anything major changed or been different about how we did it compared to other people?
So the final puzzle where you have to spot the rune that's the door pattern, that was part of a playtest, because basically the feedback was, well, once you've worked out the pattern, what's the point of doing the whole thing when you've proved you've worked out the pattern?
Yeah, you end with the process puzzle is not that satisfying necessarily. You want to end with a bit of an aha.
Yeah.
I think that's a very fair point.
Yeah, and I feel like I could have maybe made it a bit more complicated just to have that final little aha moment, but I hope it was satisfying.
I do
the way it
think
was.
it would have taken Were I on My Own so much longer to recognize, because we opened that image and it was my turn to describe it and I froze. I just went, I don't know, these have so much less detail than I was expecting. They're just 4 lines.
I think
They're
if
just
people are
simple
getting
lines.
it like too quickly, like as in without any thought, which apparently wouldn't be the case, because for me, I thought that would probably be what it was. And then for you, I think I expected that even before I opened it, because in my head I was
Really?
thinking, oh, I should have made note of which way we'd gone. I reckon
wow.
I feel like
It
we're
didn't
drawing
occur
a
to me at
symbol.
all.
I wonder if I should have written it down. So I sort of expected it in my head because I was admonishing myself for not having done it. But I also wonder if, like, weirdly, a thicker line would be less obviously the journey that you just did, I think. If the line was a bit thicker, so it looks a bit more like a rune.
That's an interesting thing to
The
experiment
thin line
on.
is very much like this is a path, and it doesn't necessarily look, but thicker, and it kind of so it gets closer to itself in an odd way. I think might be okay, but you can just base it whether or not people are getting it or not, because you don't want it to be hard. You want to end the room with the aha moment, but you never want to end it with a you're stuck
I'm
moment.
stuck for
Like, you
ages.
want them to get it.
Yeah.
So I
Good
think
point.
the level of difficulty is fine.
How did it take you a long time to get those tiles of runes in a grid that made it so that there was only one answer that you wanted? You have a good process for that, because I suck at that.
I started by laying them out in the path I wanted, and then I tried to make sure that there was always a rune nearby that was the right color but not the right symbol. So it's like, oh, if you've only got one of them, you could be like, oh, well, do I go this way? Do I go that way?
Yeah, it's too ambiguous.
And you were right that there is one symbol, one for each color. So there's like a set of green ones and a set of yellow ones, and so on.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, I find coming up with things like that and making sure that they can't accidentally be broken because just I was lazy and tried to create it too quickly. I find that challenging.
Yeah, no, I was so stressed trying to make it so you couldn't do it with only half of it. So if you'd like just got the colors or just got the symbols.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah, making sure that is unambiguously and uniquely solvable is always going to be trouble. Is it something you feel like you did before you had to test it, or did you have a few versions that tested poorly, or did you just get it once you sat down and really worked it out?
I think once I'd worked it out, it pretty much worked. Like, I don't think there was ever any issues in testing with that. What I did do was I made it shorter.
Yes,
Because
okay.
originally there was like a few more layers up, and then people were like, well, we've worked out what we're doing, so now it's just busy work. So I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm just going to bring it down a bit.
Interesting. Did your playtesters also come up with interesting descriptors for the symbols?
Yes, I did. I did have one who said they'd be very disappointed if you didn't go for lady doing a handstand for the one that you came up with as pooping alien.
Well, sorry, people, it's a pooping alien. Where's your imagination?
I'm so sorry. I've let you all down.
Oh.
It's a pooping alien.
It's a pooping alien. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes. Yeah, no, they are symbols that I have used in other things as well. So they're just like my little go-to rune library. So I don't have to make them up every time.
Oh, I should
I mean, yeah, it's a
do
good
something
idea.
like that.
No, you can't do something like that, Danny.
Why not?
Because if
Because
you're
we're
playing
going
games
into our break
with,
room season.
if you're playing games with people, you can sort of know whether or not they've played with your runes before. But if you put runes in one room, someone
They
else
don't
comes
have to
on,
mean the same
they'll have
thing every
listened. They'll
time.
have listened and be like, "Hey, Danny, these are just your stock runes," and then you'll seem like a
Yep, they don't
fool.
they don't have to have the same meanings every time. They just have to exist so
No,
that I don't
they'll
have
say,
to come
"Look
up
at-
with new symbols.
Look at your tired old symbols that you've been using this whole time.
Oh god, I'm a fraud.
Now that you're in your 10th year, you've lost all imagination." No, it is a good idea to have a little stock set of runes that you can use. Because most of the time, you're probably doubling them up anyway if you try and make them from scratch every time. Because your brain likes certain symbols. You'd start drawing, you're like, oh, this is the same thing.
I also have a big problem, as I discovered in one of our recent rooms, the last one that I wrote, that when I draw random symbols, they end up looking too much like other things, like letters and stuff like
True,
that,
yes.
that can be
Yeah.
really problematic. These ones, you tried to do that sort of thing at first,
No, and they didn't really-
we very quickly shut that down.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing like that in here. They were just symbols.
Yeah, the closest you get is maybe the treble clef one is like an 8 or a B, but even then,
Yeah.
not in a way that unless you found other letters you'd care.
Exactly. So I should take more care when I do things, because this one worked very well.
But yeah, I had a lot of fun. I thought it had a lot of character to it. I like not
it
just the
did.
characters in there, but the whole thing like it was a very nice setting, and it felt like a cool place to be in.
And
I
I
liked
think-
the world building of the
I think that's
rostering as well as the calendar and
Yeah.
there was lots of info in the background that
I
was
think
also
this is a
relevant. I
common
liked it.
theme of your rooms. I remember feeling that way with the last one that we did, the first one that we did, I should say.
But even the one in Cluseum, the idea of like these are these types of lizards and they are like this and these are putting in all this
Find
kind
that
of
bear.
background that worked out really well.
Yes. Yeah, and I think it's something that I do a lot when I'm running games or writing escape rooms, is that the reason I do that instead of writing stories is because I really love world building and I'm very bad at plot. So I just make up characters and worlds and then I just give them to other people and be like,
And then
hello, you can do
they'll
something
build
in
the plot
this.
by doing
Amazing.
stuff. Yeah.
God, I'm the opposite.
Yeah. There you go. Takes all sorts. So
Danny, you mentioned the hands being your favorite, your
Yeah.
proudest moment.
Uh-huh.
Was it your favorite moment? Was there a bit that you really liked doing instead?
Ooh, let's see. What else did I enjoy? I mean, when you feel like you've discovered something, that's always going to be a favorite.
Oh, true. I mean, I really liked getting all of the tells down because it felt like a really nice moment where I think a lot of that puzzle we had been doing of naming everybody and figuring out who is who on the basis of, well, this will probably be relevant later. Like we hadn't really been tasked with it, but it just felt so clearly like a problem that needed to be solved. It's like in Golden Idol, where you have to name all the people in the scene, but often you don't. If you only know a couple people's names, you can still solve the mystery. And actually, in Golden Idol, in Rise of the Golden Idol, you don't have to name everybody. You can skip that step, and as long as you do the final scroll, you get a victory. And it felt a little bit like that at first, where it was like, well, we'll just get the names because it's fun and satisfying. But when it came to here are the tells associated with the names, suddenly that was the moment of, oh, great, everything has paid off suddenly. Everything we've been doing has a point now and it caps off and it comes and funnels into a really clear purpose. And I loved that moment. I felt really good with that part of the room. I really enjoyed that.
So I'm still going to say that I think the hands, as far as like puzzle stuff goes, that was my favorite as a greater part of the identifying the different wedding symbols throughout the room in general. Great idea. Loved it. Favorite like bits of the experience. First of all, I loved falling down the second hole. I thought it was really funny.
Yes.
2, I loved having the narration at the start say our character name. I'm gonna keep this name. I'm really into it. It worked so well. And I'm so sorry that this is just like us interacting with each other. I really enjoy any puzzle that involves needing to communicate weird symbols and things like that, because I really enjoy the process of coming up with what do we think these look like? What's our shorthand going
It's very
to be?
keep talking and nobody explodes
It
sort
is.
of feeling.
I find that great.
Yeah.
So ghost and pooping alien. They weren't 100% intended, but it was an integral part of the puzzle. And it was a great part of the
fun.
experience.
oh, I'm glad. I think it's always fun to. I tend to do quite image-heavy rooms, I think, or like note-heavy rooms especially, and I always enjoy hearing people read things out because I think it's quite
It
entertaining
can
to
be
see
a lot of fun.
which bits you focus on, which bits you don't.
I felt the part I felt smart was when we had gone through and you had questions like, but how do we know this? And I went, Danny, we already know this. It was in the note. Don't you remember the note?
I remembered most of the notes.
But you didn't remember all. But how do we know when the book was signed? Danny, we know when the book was signed. Didn't you read the note? That was my moment of feeling smart.
Were we correct about our assumptions about which days of the week came from which racial background?
You were, yes. It was the dwarf days, the elf days, the orc days, the halfling days.
Nice.
Yeah. Just went full
Halflings and their
stereotype because
food.
it's how you communicate to people in. You're in a sci-fi world. This is the basic, not sci-fi. You're in a fantasy world. This is the basic fantasy trope. If I'm going to do a subversion, I'm going to let you know I'm doing a subversion.
Fair. And lollipop and stop sign on fire.
I'm assuming that was a frying pan.
It's a frying pan. Yeah.
Makes sense. Which one of the whole thing, Alec, do you have one that you are proudest of having created, or just even the way that you've seen various groups handle it? Which one makes you happiest?
I think the whole logic puzzle with working out people's tells and looking at the calendar, and it's always really nice to see people get fully into the calendar and be like, oh, okay, so we did this, and then suddenly they're like, oh, and we know this, and we can look back and we can cross-reference. Like at the end where you were like, oh, and we can tell that this is definitely the dwarf day because Corin isn't working on any of those days. Like that's quite fun.
It is, and it was a really well put together puzzle. It had weirdly, I think there was something good about the fact that it had more than you need a little bit. Like these elements of knowing all of the various, which are the elf days and which are it wasn't relevant, but it was a nice addition to it that gave it that sort of odd verisimilitude of this is a real system. There will be information that you don't need to know because it's just true facts about this world and hidden in there. And I think it had the right level of not so much that it was annoying, of why is all this info here I don't need, but not exactly what you need.
If you're making a puzzle video game, that's the sort of immersive ways to be weaving your clues in that you're going to need later.
Without it feeling too much like this is just a puzzle and nothing else.
Exactly.
It's a puzzle in space, and I think it was exactly the right level of information for that, which was lovely.
I agree.
I did that as well a bit with the coloured tiles. When you looked at the wall, you were just like, oh, that's so many tiles. And it was deliberately because I didn't want to give so few that you were like, oh, so we need to work something out. I think like you said, Danny, you looked at it and you're like, oh, we need to find something to cover this up. And that's sort of what I was going for, is I want it to be so much that it's it is ridiculous for me to expect you to do something with this.
There are clearly patterns here.
Blurry eyes here.
There are clearly patterns, but you're not going to find. It was great. It was really lovely. I had a lot of fun with it. It was a really lovely world, a really good set of puzzles, and they worked very well and quite varied as well. It never felt like we were doing the same thing twice.
No, that's
which was
true.
Great. A good mix of puzzly things to do as well as tasks to do, like make ghost coffee.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm going to be so traumatized by ghost coffee for some reason.
They've got the machine to create the ghost. The coffee does not always have a ghost.
Coffees always have ghosts.
It's like how in Stormlight Archive, everything's got a
little spirit in it.
Yes.
Exactly. That was the spren of the coffee, Daddy. And then we killed it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Pooped it out eventually.
Thank you so much for coming and running the room for us.
Alien pooped it out.
No, thank you for coming on and running it. It was really,
so
really
much.
lovely to have you back. It was a really fun room to
Strong
play.
start to our train journey across the season.
Yes, as we travel all stations to 10 years, this was a good stop. So thank you. For people who wanted to check out other stuff you make, because clearly you are quite good at making stuff, where can they find it? And do you have a good example of one of the things that you've made that you want to talk about?
So I have actually made some escape rooms that I've put up on my itch page before. I've got a little sort of online twine game that you can play. And my itch is Villinius Productions, which is VULLINIUS. I also make tabletop role-playing games. I've got 2 at the moment. I'm working on a 3rd. And they are both horror comedy games based around just causing chaos and having fun with your friends mostly. I've got one which is Having the Time of Our Deaths, which is about being monster movie characters in a sitcom world. And I've got Hag Race, which is about being a little girl turning into a hag and causing as much chaos as possible. And it's always so funny every time I run either of those, just seeing what the players get up to. So.
Amazing.
It's wonderful. All right, thank you so much. There'll be links to those in the show notes. Thank you, Dani, for playing with me.
Thank you. It is always good. If you have someone that is at your puzzle partner, games like this, like go to the itch page and do one of these little at-home puzzly adventures. They're a really good partner activity.
That is true. And thank you everybody for listening. I hope you all enjoyed this episode, this first stop on the train to 10. If you want to help support the show, just tell people about it. We were already complaining before this recording about how annoying social media is to be on and use. So save us the effort and tell your friends about this great show that you love and they're trained to their 10th year.
No one can say that you're an AI bot if you say it with your human mouth.
Yeah, that's the thing. No one knows when they see anything online anymore whether it's real. So go tell them about this real thing that we're making. It really is helpful. It's the best way to help spread the show to new listeners. So thank you for everybody who does that and for everybody who's about to do that now that I've asked. Thank you very much. You can also help support the show with money. We don't run ads on the show. All of this support, all of our income of the show comes through crowdfunding. So thank you for everybody who supports us on Patreon. Anybody who signs up at any level can appear as an NPC in one of Dani's rooms.
Yeah, thank you, Stoli Brogar.
Stoli Brogar is not a Patreon donor, but Gabro Listo, now that's different. But there's also a huge amount of bonus material for anybody else. The $5 donors, there has been a new weekly bonus episode for like 8 of these 10 years. So there is heaps of stuff there. There is a weekly show for the $10 donors. There's monthly videos for the $10 donors. There's weekly cryptic crossword videos for the $20 donors. There's a huge amount of stuff. And if you don't want to be a monthly donor, there is now a page that is linked in the show notes of collections of audio bonus episodes that you can just do a pay once, get that collection and listen to it however much you want.
Of the slightly older stuff.
Yes, of the slightly older stuff.
So that the monthly donors.
Yeah, it's definitely better to be a monthly donor, but some of these ones that we have from years ago that are now just sitting there listened to by all the patrons, we thought we'd make little collections and slowly add to that as time goes by. But right now you can at least get the first 30 episodes we did of a series called 2-Minute Mysteries, where we solve 2-minute mysteries. It's great fun. So thank you, everybody who supports us through Patreon or with these individual donations. Thank you again, Alec, for coming on. It was lovely to have you. Thank you, Dani. That's it. We're done. Bye, everybody. Choo-choo.
We both said choo-choo.